Donald Trump has trapped himself as Iran is issuing yet another warning. This time, it's coming directly from the Ayatollah. It is a message to Donald Trump that your hybrid warfare is not going to work. Iran knows that you're trying to manipulate public sentiment and propagandize the world and divide us, and we're not going to be divided. You're never going to achieve in negotiations that which you couldn't achieve in war. And essentially, in this statement issued by the Ayatollah, he's saying, look, you want to come and invade us? You want to attack us? Go for it. We're prepared. We're ready to go. But if you want to pursue peace, then there has to be security guarantees across the region. There has to be a real ceasefire. And unless and until that ceasefire really includes Lebanon as well, we're not going to make any deal. I mean, the Ayatollah, through official channels, also posted this photograph right here showing the Iranians national symbol on top of a hill, and showing that it is taking over and conquering the West. I mean, this is how weak the United States looks right now. And, even, allies of Donald Trump are out there saying, dude, you are completely boxed in right now. What are you doing? What's the game plan here? You seem utterly frozen, because he is utterly frozen. Iran's supreme leader said the following: the enemy has been defeated. Now it wages hybrid warfare. He addressed the people and said, the vile enemy, having suffered defeat at the hands of your brave sons in the armed forces, and having experienced a profound and meaningful humiliation, both on the military battlefield and in the streets, which has visibly caused countries to drift away from it, has now focused its hybrid warfare on 2 points: breaking the people's endurance and creating errors in the calculations of the country's officials. Its main tool is both sowing the seeds of doubt, despair, fear, suspicion, and discord, a warning to Iranians not to be divided by enemy psychological operations. He added that any action by officials causing pessimism and disillusionment among the people is a form of assistance to the enemy. And while you have the Ayatollah putting out statements like this, you have Israel's ambassador to the United States saying the following on Donald Trump and Netanyahu's relationship. He refers to Trump and Netanyahu as, quote, lovers. And he says, lovers have spats. They may have had a little lover spat this week. That's okay. Taking out one bleep from all of those conversations and making that the hallmark of their relationship is a mistake. Israel's ambassador to the United States, Trump and Netanyahu are lovers. You think those statements are helpful right now? And let's face it, they're not intended to be helpful. In the past 24 hours, after Donald Trump announced a ceasefire in Lebanon and said, the head of Lebanon and Israel and in the United States, we all agreed to this. I mean, again, we're seeing massive strikes in Lebanon. There's no ceasefire taking place there at all. Israel's national security minister, Ben says a ceasefire in Lebanon is a fantasy. Hezbollah will not withdraw north of the Litani River. Hezbollah has gone stronger and stronger. And he said Netanyahu should tell Trump, we love you, but the answer is no. We're not going to agree to a ceasefire with an organization that endangers Israel's security. I mean, and we see in the past, 12 hours, at least 9 people were killed in Lebanon. And so there's no ceasefire there. Iran Revolutionary Guard saying that the region will never be stable unless Israel withdraws from occupied areas in Lebanon. Iran's IRGC says a ceasefire on all fronts is a precondition to any deal between Iran and the United States. Yesterday, Donald Trump's like, yeah, we don't want it that way. We prefer just to negotiate and just have a deal between the United States and Iran. But Iran has made it very clear from the outset, since March. This was their position. We were talking about it in March. They said Lebanon and Hezbollah in Lebanon is included in the security guarantees. And Trump agreed to that when he initiated the ceasefire and reposted Iran's foreign minister, Araghchi. Hezbollah's leader, Naim Qassem, posts, as long as our villages are being bombed and our people killed, northern Israel will not be safe. And so that's what's happened since they've announced that there's going to be a ceasefire. And you see how the rest of the world is reacting to this. You have Finnish President Alexander Stubb says, look, we got to really fortify and enlarge the European Union right now. We got to bring all the mid-powers together and create this superpower of our own. He says, let's bring in Canada. Let's bring in the Western Balkans. Let's bring in Turkey. Let's bring in any other country that wants to be a part of this. He goes, no one's talking about Turkey. We need them for military assistance. The United States is not a reliable partner, and we have to create our own structures. And think about what Trump's doing this morning. I mean, we just got a horrible jobs report. 92,000 jobs were cut in May. That's the worst since the last big Trump job loss in 2020. 97,006 job loss. Remember under former President Biden when we would be reporting 200,000 jobs created, 250. And then corporate news and MAGA would be like, yeah, but you promised us 300,000 new manufacturing jobs. Well, every month now, the Trump regime is losing jobs. And instead, you have Donald Trump sending his ballroom architect, the fine arts commissioner and ballroom people, Rodney Mims Cook Jr. Guess where they are right now? St. Petersburg, Russia. Yeah, they're at the Russian Economic Forum right now. Trump sent his ballroom and arch people to go to Russia to talk economic development with Russia right now. That's Donald Trump's main priority. At the same time, Donald Trump has told NATO through our lead allied commander, Grinkowicz, that the United States is pulling out of massive promises and deals that were made and commitments to NATO. Donald Trump has sent Rodney Mims Cook Jr. this morning. There he is right here in Russia, showing off Donald Trump's ballroom. That's what Donald Trump wanted to do. Show off his ballroom to Putin. Here's Rodney Mims Cook Jr., the man charged with, as Ben Taviner explains, the man charged with overseeing Trump's ballroom and arch project. He was in no mood to speak to the press in St. Petersburg today. Marco Rubio said he was unaware a U.S. delegation was going to the Russian International Economic Forum, once dubbed Putin's Davos. But that's what the United States has become. I'll just show you a short clip of Rodney Mims Cook Jr. trying to not be interviewed by the press. But here's the thing, bud. You're out there. You're in Russia. You're showing off the ballroom to Russia while the American people are suffering, while jobs are being cut. And now you don't want to speak to the press? Anyway, here he is in Russia. Let's play this clip.
Please, sir, please, no questions. Rodney, please go in. We're going through. There are no questions.
Why?
We are here.
Why?
And
Where
we
is
will
the
have
American
a panel.
democracy and freedom of speech?
And then, of course, in addition to the economic data, Donald Trump is completely sinking in the polls right now, in red states as well. The latest Fox poll shows that by a 15-point margin, Ohioans view Donald Trump negatively. 42% hold a favorable opinion and 57% an unfavorable one. That's more than a 20-point swing compared to his +6 net positive rating in the November 2024 Ohio Fox News voter analysis. When we zoom in on the Senate race going on right there and the governor's race, Democratic candidates in Ohio lead both in the Senate and they lead in the governor's race. You have over here, you see Democrats up 53% to 45%. And then in the governor's race, the Democrat is up 50% to 49% there. You go to the Iowa poll. The Democratic candidate, Rob Sand, is leading the far right-wing candidate there, 50% to 41% right there. And I think we're seeing this trend take place across the entire country right now. One other thing to note, and I've been saying focus on this, pay attention. The oil reserves are falling below a critical threshold right now. Remember, I shared with you what the Exxon Mobil executive was saying, and there's a ton of oil analysts saying the same thing. Tank bottom Oil industry is warning the Trump administration that drained inventories threaten to spike gasoline prices. Industry executives said the loss of oil through the Strait of Hormuz is draining petroleum inventories to dangerously low levels. We have shared those concerns at the highest levels of government about what's coming in mid to late June. I hope they are paying attention to inventories right now. You are hitting tank bottom. Donald Trump, like a miracle, it's all going to go away. Let's just do nothing, stay frozen, just let things develop. Because what Trump's philosophy is, if and when there's chaos and catastrophic events, he blames the other. He's okay with America being destroyed as long as he's personally okay. So he'll wait for a catastrophic economic situation, which is already unfolding. And then he'll go, who can I blame? Who can I blame? Who can I blame in the chaos of it all? That's what he does. Or he just does nothing and hopes, okay, maybe I get bailed out by someone else. And then I take credit for the good and then I blame for the bad. That's his whole philosophy. Don't you see it? And so you see lots of countries now trying to figure out what can we do with Iran because the critical low inventories are impacting those countries as well. So they're figuring, what do we do right now? How do we respond to this? And Donald Trump remains frozen in the face of all of this. We'll keep you posted every step of the way. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent testifying today, doing horrible. Brooke Rollins, Agriculture Secretary, doing horrible. We'll cover that. So check back in about 90 minutes and we'll get you some updates. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million. Thanks for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.